IDF says ambulance attacked in Gaza transported Hamas terrorists and weapons.
Here's a summary of the article.
The IDF Friday morning named 4 more soldiers who have been killed in battles against Hamas terrorists in the northern Gaza Strip. U.S. officials have confirmed that U.S. surveillance drones have been flying over Gaza in search of hostages taken by Hamas when the Palestinian terror organization attacked Israel. The 2 U.S. officials, speaking on the condition of anonymity, said the U.S. was flying intelligence-gathering drones over Gaza to assist with hostage location efforts. According to the New York Times, the surveillance drones are mainly focused over the southern part of the Gaza Strip and relay information to the IDF, which is operating on the ground in the north. Pentagon sources confirmed to the Times that this is the first time U.S. drones have operated over Gaza. Elite IDF reconnaissance units, including Haruv, Dechifit, Davdivan, the Engineering Corps and the Border Police, carried out operations in the Jenin refugee camp in the northern West Bank overnight on Friday. Elsewhere, in the Al-Fawar camp near Hebron, Israeli forces conducted raids on workshops used as weapon manufacturing sites, where 2 rioters were shot dead. Additional reports from Palestinian sources indicate that another individual was fatally wounded by IDF gunfire in the Qalandia refugee camp, located to the north of Jerusalem.
This post received a score of 10,000, with an upvote ratio of 78%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Not going on anything either Hamas or the IDF says without proof. You blow up an ambulance, you put the intel forward. Otherwise this is just spin. We all know what spin looks like. Spin is how this mess was managed for decades.
I'm giving every piece of information I hear a week to see what other countries and analysts say. You can't trust the breaking news stories because everyone's just publishing straight propaganda directly from the government's mouth, be it Israel's or Hamas's.
Exactly. I fell for this just the other day with the headline, Israel refuses ceasefire. Which is only half true. The actual truth is that they're happy to take a ceasefire if Hamas releases the Israeli hostages. So the headline could have just as easily read, Hamas refuses ceasefire.
Yep. Then Hamas could say, we're happy to release the hostages if you release the Palestinians in prison, or if you agree to a ceasefire, which then gets spun back into Israel's fault. It's so messy, we honestly should not be relying on headlines at all.
What they did say is that they needed to have a ceasefire to find people. Not saying I trust Hamas either. But how much of a monolith are they? Doctors that work for their hospitals are not all in bed with the terrorists.
They are absolutely not a monolith. 50% of the country is children who could have never voted in the first place.
There were 2 dead kids laying next to the corpses of injured men and women no older than what? Mid-20s? And #X200B. The videos were captured right after the strike and there is no weapons or parts shown in the video, no secondary fires which would be normal if they were transporting makeshift rockets. No bullets, no nothing. Just injured and dead people, some medical gauze and blue nitrile gloves and scrap metal from the blown-up vehicles.
If they had such damning proof all the time, you better believe they would be plastering it everywhere and making sure the world sees every bit of corroborating evidence proving they are in the right. The lack of substantial evidence besides just plausible scenarios says everything.
This idea that a government in the middle of war would be plastering intel everywhere? I've seen it a bunch now. Regardless of how you feel about IP, surely you realize that's silly. What military would share intel with the world when they're still using it? I'm not saying Israel has the proof and isn't sharing it. I'm just saying the logic is faulty.
If you're going to set a precedent that it's acceptable to bomb hospitals and ambulances, I'd want to see a lot more proof from multiple independent sources that the same hospitals and ambulances were in fact used to wage war. I haven't forgotten how non-existent weapons of mass destruction were used to justify the invasion of Iraq. 20 years ago, the US warned of Iraq's alleged weapons of mass destruction, NPR.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.